Hey there, rock stars. Uh, I'm at the Epic Accelerator right now, and I just wanted to check in with you guys. I was asked a really good question from someone in the audience, and they had said that, or they had asked if, how do we find discounted properties without needing a bank, right? So I can really tell, like, the phrasing of the question comes from a retail mindset. And we're all talking about you need to incorporate an investor mindset, right? And an investor looks at things very, very differently. So first is how do we find discount properties? So we have to go off market. And we just finished our session, our second session of the Legends Challenge yesterday. Here, I'll share my screen with you real quick on what we went through yesterday. Um, Hold on just a sec. We'll take this up there. All right, so there's that. Uh-oh. Trying to run this from 100% from the laptop here at the center. Okay, here we go. I think. All right, there you are. Okay, so let's see. The question was, how do we find discounted properties without needing a bank? So this is the homework page, and here's the Legends Challenge page. So we just finished our session yesterday, the second session of the Legends Challenge, and went through sending offers. On Tuesday, I showed you, Tuesday, Wednesday, I showed you what we did on session one, just kind of recap this, specific what your business needs were, what you need to have a thriving business, particularly in this type of environment. So we did that a couple days ago. But yesterday, we talked about our presenting offers, specifically our conversational conversion process. When it comes to generating leads of motivated sellers and finding leads that are open to discounted offers and the way that you can buy discounted real estate, that's what we're going to cover next session. And it's not too late to join us, by the way. If you'd like to, you can go to thelegendschallenge.com. These first two sessions have been recorded. They're up in there. You can easily catch up. We'll resume on Tuesday. We're going to go after marketing and lead generation. We're actually going to show you how to find these deals offline, and how you find the motivated sellers and how you purchase these properties at a discount. But yesterday's session, what we did is we went through the science of lead conversion, because this is really the secret to the entire business. Can you take a lead to contract? And most people get really focused on the next part of the conversion process of taking the contract to profit. And that's really, really easy to take it from contract to profit if you get the lead to contract part right. So we went through the science of lead conversion, of what that actually takes. We went for the objective of the seller meeting, and we approached it from two different perspectives, whether we did that in person, which I prefer, and I prefer that my students do, but we can't always do that. So there's an alternative approach to do it virtually. So we covered both of those. And then here's where we really went all in as far as price and terms, to where we don't need a bank. Because as real estate investors, we're going to purchase properties in one of two ways: by either our price and the seller's terms, or the seller's price and our terms. As long as we control one of those, we can always deal for ourselves. So we talked about the relationship between price and terms, and how we approach this initially, and where most investors get stuck and can't get the creative part to really flow and to really connect. And the reason they can't, so for a few reasons. One is they introduce the concept way too soon, right? Within the first few minutes, would you be open to seller financing? The seller says no, and phone call over. They don't know what to say after that. You have to remember that we, as real estate investors, we understand terms, we understand financing, we understand all this creative stuff, right? But sellers, they don't have a clue. It's like speaking Swahili to them. All they understand is price. So you always want to go in with the price first. And if you can't come to an agreement on price, then you can introduce the terms. So that's how we went through that, and all the different ways to introduce those terms. Let me see. This is how we buy. We have to control one or the other. Went over how do we create the cash offer, and then the terms here. We went through a number of different terms and how to coordinate those and arrange those in a way that you can actually create a deal for yourself without needing banks, or maybe even use the existing financing that's already on the property. And then I gave them an example there. And we went through the, let's see, what was the next part? Right, there are only three types of offer that a seller can expect. This is the only three ways that they're going to sell their house or their property. Let me zoom in on this so you can see it. So there is a retail offer, which is your traditional offer through a real estate agent. You get fair market value for the house. This is how the seller gets fair market value. but it's going to require repairs. It's going to require real marketing. It's going to require commissions. It's going to require time on market. It's going to require a loan approval. And so that's the first way. So if they want to get full market value, that's what they got to do. If they want the investor offer where we do all of this work, they pairs, they don't have to do the marketing of the open house, no commissions, no loan contingency. We can pay cash now, but they're going to have to accept a price that's below full market value. Right? So that's the alternative. So those are the two options that most people go in with, but what they miss is the third option that a seller actually has, which is the co-op offer, to where they still don't have to do the repairs. We can do that for them. They don't have to go any marketing, no open houses. They don't have to deal with any commission. There's no loan contingency. And typically it's going to be a higher price than the investor offer, sometimes even full price, as long as it takes some money now and the rest later. So once you're really clear that the only three options every seller has, I showed them how to follow up and how they can make money with which one that they choose. This was a big eye opener for a lot and somewhat groundbreaking for some people, because they recognize, oh my gosh, I could have introduced this on that last appointment, or this on the last appointment. And once you get really good at articulating these things to a seller, they're going to pick one. Mr. Seller, would you like the retail offer, the investor offer, or the co-op offer? Because those are the three choices you got, right? They're going to pick one. And you don't care which one they pick, because we've set everybody up to be able to make money on whichever one they do choose. Right? So if this is resonating with you and you'd like to learn more about this has all been recorded, the detail, everything, all the documents, all the resources. You can go to thelenschallenge.com, and should be a link in the description as well, make it easy for you. And then you can catch up on these 2 minutes on Tuesday, where we're actually going to go over marketing and lead generation. How do we find these deals? But now that we understand those three types of offers, we're going to go through the conversational conversion process. So this is just step by step. And the reason I highlighted this in big letters, because this really is the whole business. Generating leads is really, really easy. And I'm going to show them multiple ways of how to do this, whether they pay for them or they work for them, a bunch of free ways, a bunch of paid ways. So we'll show them how to do this on Tuesday. But the leads and then finding the money, those two things is like what stops everybody from investing in real estate. But those two things are really, really easy if you get this conversational conversion process right. So I just walked them through this process. We see the transition agreement. And a transition agreement, if you're not hip to that, you might have heard of it as an upfront contract. It comes with 3 minutes. So there's not a real script, but if you can cover all 3 bullet points in those conversations, it has a huge impact on the rapport that you build, on the trustability that you convey, the competence that you convey, even if you don't even know what you're doing, even if you've never even done this before. If you get these transition agreements down right, it can go a long way in connecting with the seller. But you want to use these at the beginning and at the ending of every interaction with the seller. And it just covers 3 points. Here's what's going to happen next. So you let the seller know this is what's going to happen next. These are the possible outcomes. And then the third thing is you get to choose. And whatever you choose, it's 100% okay with me, Mr. Seller. Is that fair? So if you do that at the beginning and at the end of every single one of your interactions, you're going to find your rapport and your connection with sellers is going to really escalate. Then we went through the 9-point seller interview. This is how we sort the prospects from the suspects and how we ultimately set up an appointment with the most motivated sellers. We went through our quick and dirty analysis, how you can determine the value of a property just like this. So that way you can get it under contract in the ballpark price. So we went ahead and we went through the assignable purchase agreement, and we showed them how to handwrite it, how to type it, and how to set up for DocuSign. So you're totally efficient and run your business like a business. And then how to actually present the offer. And this is an art form. If there's a science to it, but it can be learned as well. You don't have to be a natural. And there's a process where most people, investors that go out there, they just go back and forth and negotiate the price with the seller. And when that's your only way that you know how to approach this conversation, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And as real estate investors, you want to go in and you want to create win-win scenarios. You get a lot more deals accepted when you know how to create a win-win outcome. And that is what we show them how to do there in this exact dialogue. And there's a little link to the script here that everyone has access to. But ultimately what you're doing is you are teaming up with the seller and you are on their side, right? You're there. They called you to solve their problem. You're going to show up as the problem solver. And it's going to be on the same team against the market. So you are the good cop. The market is the bad cop. And when you approach it that way, you're going to find your negotiation is going to go a lot further. and your seller's going to be much nicer, and they're going to be much more cooperative. And ultimately, how this is phrased is the seller is actually going to come up with the offer, and they're going to come up with an offer in a way that's acceptable to you too. So there's a very systematic approach in how this conversation goes, and we spend a lot of time on that, and that's also been recorded. That's available inside of the members area. But here's what I offer to everybody. If they get to a certain point in that presentation, if the seller agreed to take some money now and the rest later, I gave them all access directly to me, to where I will go in and I will call the seller on their own behalf, and I'll take it to the finish line for them. So this is the whole goal, is for everybody to get a signed contract in 10 days or less. And that's kind of that's how I'm enabling them to do this. So I'm giving all the resources to generate the leads, which we're going to cover next session, initial conversations to have, how to set those appointments, how to get them to a certain point in that whole process, and then they can just turn it over to me. I'll close it, and then they'll get paid. So that was the agreement. And then again, you end up with the transition agreement at the end. And then the last thing is, if the seller did not sign, we have two approaches to this, and we're going to do both. But we have something of this magic letter called the rejection letter. You know, one of my clients, an RA's private client, Josh, he took my 3-option letter of intent and he tweaked it a little bit and put some special, and he started using it in a certain way. And then he taught it back to me, which was really fun. Something that I taught him, and he taught me how to do it actually better, or at least in a different way. And he sent out to this rejection letter to every seller that had ever said no to him. And it was funny. They all said no, leave, buzz off, go pound sand. And he sent these letters out for 1 year to everyone that ever said no to him, and it resulted in 55 extra deals that year. So that's one approach we're taking to all the people that say no to us. Then how to follow up, because the fortune is in the follow-up, right? You've heard that before. No secret there. And we go ahead and, oh, where did it go? There's another way of following up here. Wasn't it? That wasn't it. The follow-up is right here. Got it. So how to follow up once we get through the conversational process. Following up is a lot of people, because they feel like they're calling back desperate, they're calling back needy, begging for the deal, or they just flat out feel awkward. So what I gave them was the multi-option follow-up, which is really, really effective, and you can have somebody do that on your behalf. But 11 different ways of how to follow up with a seller, to where you maintain your position as a person of authority, and you're maintaining your position and your posture that as a professional real estate investor, and you don't really need them. You're just following up as the good cop, trying to help them out. So we went through all of that. Right. So that's what we covered, and that's how you find these deals. You find these off-market deals, which we're going to cover in great detail next session. So if you'd like to join us, please do go to thelegendschallenge.com. Go ahead and take a look at the details. If you like what you see, join us. You can catch up on Tuesday. But where it really happens is the price and terms, and how the conversational conversion process goes. This is how you purchase these properties without any money. This is how you purchase these properties without a bank. This is how you purchase these properties using more of your intellectual currency than your actual currency. All right. So if you'd like to join us, I'd love to have you. And I know everybody else there would too, because the more the merrier. And we're all having a bunch of fun in there, and we're all going to get a contract signed in 10 days or less. And that challenge officially starts next Thursday. So we've been laying the groundwork. We've completed 2 sessions. And then on this coming Tuesday, the 3rd session, we're going to go ahead and talk about how we actually generate these leads and find these people and attract them to us to get them to call us. And we got a bunch of paid ways to do it. And we got a bunch of free ways to do it, even more of the free ways to do it, because that's how I started. It's what I know best. So that's what I'm going to show everybody. And I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to demonstrate. It's not just going to be, hey, first do this, do this, do this. They're going to actually watch me do it. And if that resonates with you and you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. Alrighty. So that's it for today. I just want to jump out of here real quickly. I got to jump back into our Epic Accelerator. This is our advanced training for our RAs clients. We're here in Las Vegas. I got about, 75 people in the room. And right now they're learning how to evaluate repairs with our fix and flip specialist, who actually flies out to people's markets and works the market with them side by side right there in their market. And there's a lot of people that are anxious for that. And we're going over that right now. And then we're going to break and we're going to go happy hour. We all love the happy hour, right? So hopefully I get to see you soon. Hopefully I'll see you on the Legends Challenge. And that's it, y'all. And if I don't, have a good week.